So we recently did a high-level $4,000 event where we had about 65 people coming in from 12 different countries and about 115 people attend this event virtually. So it was a hybrid event, and today in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can conduct life-changing events where people are paying you good money for it, but also at the same time thanking you for literally changing their lives. And today in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 different components that you absolutely must have in place the next time you're doing an event, or even if you're doing your first event. Hey, this is Peng Joon here, and literally after doing events for about a decade in more than 20 countries all over the world, I've done the small rooms, I've done the big rooms, I've done 3,000 people events, and I've also done 15-person events. And today, the first thing that you gotta be able to think about that has gotta make sense is, number one, is obviously the marketing of the event. How do you even market this event? Now, whether you are marketing this event to your social media following or whether it's email, whatever it is, I think about the marketing of the event as 3 main stages. Okay, it's always, so every single email sequence, every single way I communicate to my audience always follows with utilizing these 3 things. And the first element of every single promotional campaign for an event, when I send people to the sales page, when they watch a sales video, number 1 is based on emotion. So you probably know that when it comes to people buying, it's just people always buy based on their emotion. So the question is, how can you evoke emotion? Could it be based on a local timely hook? Could it be based on a specific result or outcome? But most importantly, based on the result outcome, how does it make them feel? So typically, this is when we will market the event based on what makes it emotionally compelling. Okay? Now, the second piece of the marketing campaign is based on logic. So every single time the purchasing decision is based on buying based on emotion, and we typically back it up with logic. Now, this depends on whether your audience is left or right brain, but you want to think about every single time you buy something, this is when if a person does not get you to make a decision emotionally, chances are then you're thinking about it logically. So logically would be things like best case scenario versus worst case scenario. Logically would be like, logically, what would happen if I did this versus if I didn't do it? So this is when now you want to be able to utilize things like cost versus benefit, things that appeals logically to a person inside your messaging. And finally, the third piece in every single marketing campaign is to end it with scarcity. So that's exactly what we did. So this is when you want to come from the angle of maybe price increases after a specific date. This is when maybe you could have a physical limitation in your room, just like us. It wasn't a huge ballroom, but it was a small room for the people in our community. So you want to think about, well, what makes it painful if they do not invest by a specific time, and make sure you communicate that. So typically for events, this is when you could have different milestones where prices increases based on a specific date. But every single campaign when it comes to your marketing needs to follow these 3 things. That's the first piece. So the next piece that you gotta figure out when we did our event, number 2, so once people show up, the question is, how do you conduct this event so that it's something that isn't just worthwhile for them, but it's truly something that they're gonna walk away and thinking themselves, wow, this event literally changed my life. Now, if you think about it, when was the last time you attended an event or a training or a seminar or a workshop and you thought to yourself, wow, that was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had in my life in that short 3-day or that short weekend? Now, typically, this is when you want to think about the topics to teach. And when it comes to the different topics to teach, here's what most people try to do. Most people try to give the steps or the solution to a problem, not realizing that that's not truly the thing that's going to make a long-term difference in your audiences. Here's what I mean. At the lowest level, the thing to teach is typically theory. This is like academia, where they teach you theoretical things that may or may not have actually been done by them. So it's like a university professor teaching you how to start a business without having started one themselves. Now, while theory has its place, a much more important thing at the next level is every time you teach something that's based on theory, you want to think about, well, what's the second step, which is tactical, right? So in order to apply this specific strategy, what's the how? What are the steps? Now, the steps, in most cases, is where people tend to think that's what they need, but that's also not the thing that will truly create lasting change for them. Now, why is that the case? It is because you could know the steps to do something, your audience could know the steps to do something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will do it. So think of it as like you could be a weight loss coach telling your audience that, hey, in order to lose weight, you gotta be able to eat right and exercise. Those are the steps, right? It's a two-step process. Everybody knows that two-step process, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll go do it. Why is because at the third level, at the highest level, this is when it's all about creating transformation. So there's theory, tactical, and transformation. Now, what is transformation? This means that whenever you think about teaching something, what creates real long-lasting transformation is if you can change the way they think, their mindset, and their attitude around something. If you can change who they are and how they're wired, so this could be rather than teaching them the how, you're getting them to see the why. Now, this applies for pretty much every single topic out there. If you can come from the angle of changing how your audience is wired and how they think about that thing, that's going to be significantly more powerful than just showing them how to do that thing. Because somebody may know how to get abs. How to get abs is just by eating right, doing sit-ups, exercising, right? That's the how. Everybody knows the how in most cases, right? But the thing that will create change for them is if you can find and help them find the burning desire, the why, and change their mindset, their mentality, their attitude, how they see the world, how they see themselves. That is the thing that you want to think about incorporating in your events, and that's how you create true change for your audiences. And that brings us to number 3, simulating the real thing as much as you can. So one of the things that we did at the event, this was like literally on day 2, is we played a game. And I asked myself, if this was the game of marketing, what are some of the things that I can do to simulate real life as possible? All the different options, or what are the things they could be doing, whether it's creating social media, whether it's funnels, whether it's negotiating with a JV partner, whether it's driving free traffic, whether it is paid ads. And we created a game to simulate real life as possible. Now, people may not necessarily remember what it is that you teach, but they will remember how they felt, right? Probably you know this as well, right? Think about your childhood days, moments and memories when it was very visible and very real to you. Chances are it was memorable not because of something somebody said that you remember, but rather how this person made you feel instead. And what if events was really the same thing? How can you change and get your audiences to remember a specific thing, specific concept or strategy really well? Is if you can either demonstrate and they're kinesthetic and they're moving and they're doing that thing. And if you can get them to do it and learn the lessons from their actions or inactions, that is how they'll be able to be a lot more engaged, and that's also how you'll be able to get them to remember and retain the information for a much longer time. And then there's number 4. And number 4 is to smash the like button for YouTube algorithm. Guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you want to be able to discover how to build up profitable sales processes, not just for events, but if you want to be able to get more leads and convert these leads into sales in an automated manner, then be sure to subscribe to this channel so that every single time we drop a video, you'll be the first to be able to get notified. Now that being said, number 4 is the resources and the assets and all of the other things that is more towards done with you and done for you. So one of the things that we over-delivered at the end of this event, where nobody was expecting us to do this, maybe not for people that was used to attending our events. They always know that most of our events, we always over-deliver and we always have all these different unannounced bonuses at the end. But one of the things that we did that kind of shocked the entire room is at the end of the event, I said, so in the last 5 days, all the things that you learned and the things that you discovered and you taught, guess what? All different assets, the different resources, the different tools, different templates, we've actually built it out for you. And then we actually revealed this insane Trello board that gives them all the different funnels that's required, the different scripts, the different handouts, the different prompts, what to say, all literally handed to them on a platter, and the room just went insane. okay? And this is something that I always do whenever I think about events, which is like, how can I give my audience something that they didn't expect and over-deliver? And if you want to be able to help your audiences at a much deeper level, think about how can I help them with the implementation, with the heavy lifting, where all they gotta do, based on what it is that I teach them, where they just need to either fill in the blanks or copy and paste and model and deploy, where the heavy lifting is done and they just need to be able to apply the different assets and resources that you give them. And finally, that brings us to number 5. Now, before I reveal to you what number 5 is, most of the time when people think about events, they just think about, oh, I've sold the tickets to the event and now I gotta be able to just deliver it, without realizing that events is the best way to build a community, to get people coming in back for more, and to be able to ascend them and identify who are the people in the room that might want to be able to work with you at a much deeper level. So one of the ways we do events for our community is ascension and retention. Okay, so you want to be able to think about how can I use this event to, if you have some sort of subscription model, to get them to renew and continue utilizing your products, programs, or services. So like for us, it was to be able to get people to renew utilizing our softwares at salesprocess.com. It was to be able to get people to renew working with us, with our coaching, if they're currently a coaching member, and to be able to ascend by identifying who are the people in the room that is already qualified, that don't necessarily want more coaching, but maybe they just want a done-for-you solution. Maybe they want more access through the mastermind. But that's where number 5 comes in. This is also where you'll realize that your real margins, and you might have heard of the saying, you know, the money's in the back end. And for events, it's no different. It's never about the sale of the event, but rather what it is that you do on the back end of the event that can yield significantly higher margins and sales when you're able to now demonstrate to your audience that you can help them by actually helping them. And then after that, coming from the angle of, look, if you like to be able to take things on a much deeper level, these are the other type of offers that I actually have. I hope these 5 things helped you out. Let me know in the comments below which one you like most and how you intend to use it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And if you truly want to get good at events and trainings, be sure to binge watch this entire playlist that's going to appear in front of you right now in a couple of seconds.